Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 19 of On the Virtual Track. For some reason, I can hear myself, Jack. I don't know where you've got me coming through.
Oh no, what have I done?
I have no idea, but I can hear myself. Never mind, we'll ignore that one. Episode 19, guys, I'm pleased to get this man into this. I've been trying to get him in for ages, and we finally managed to get a date up as well. Mr. Jack Ashton, who's coming along for a chat. Jack, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, mate. Thank you very much. You?
I'm all right. Not bad, dude. Plod along, doing my thing as best as we possibly can. You know what I mean? So we normally start off, and because I know you've listened to every single one of these, Jack, and we normally start off sort of delving how far back we go before the guest has picked up a steering wheel and driven actually in any form of simulator whatsoever or game in general. How far, if we started your journey, how far back would we go?
All right. I'd say we'll be going back to 2013 is the sort of area that I started. I mean, I did bits and bobs in karting, and as you do when you're kind of into motorsport, but nothing that serious, just sort of arrive and drive stuff. But yeah, I started real life driving in 2013. It might seem a bit like, wow, straight into it, but I got born into a family of motorsport. My dad's been doing motorsport since before I was born. My older brother, he's 8 years older than me, he was into motorsport as well, followed in my dad's footsteps. He was also racing before I could even get in a car, so I was itching at the bit as soon as I could. Turned 17, I got my real driver's license and my race license pretty much the same time. And as soon as I got my race license, I had the opportunity to go straight out and get on track for my first time. Zero experience and proper beginner level. But jumped straight into it and just had fun because it was a hobby of mine really at that time. It wasn't really a serious sort of side in the sense of I'm gonna be an F1 driver. Never been my aspiration. Just want to do it because I love motorsport. It's what I do. I live and breathe. And yeah, that's kind of where it all started. I mean, the journey goes along a lot further from there. Do you want me to continue?
Yeah, you carry on, mate.
Yeah.
I'm looking, and what did you start driving in?
So yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I started racing in 2013 in a MG Metro Cup. So
Now, would
yeah.
it be this? Now, I'm going to share my screen, and you can tell me whether or not it is what I think it is. Have I just found one of them dodgy pictures?
Yeah, you're pretty. I mean, it's the most updated car, but it's very much the same. That's a nice photo. I like that photo.
Yeah, it's good, mate. I just googled Jack Ashton Racing, and this is what you come up with.
There we go. I mean, yeah. So basically, that car is very much what I've been racing from the get-go. Back in 2013, it was very, very different, but it was the same championship that I've always been kind of racing in. It's what my dad's been racing. My dad's been into minis, metros, and that's kind of where we've always ended up. And we have a lot of spares for the cars, so it's like kind of easy to just jump in rather than trying to build a whole new different car and learn a whole new car. So it's very much that. And I started in that 2013, and the fourth race or third race that I ever did, I had a really bad crash at Silverstone at Cops. So as you can imagine, at Cops, it's quite a big one. I'm not going to lie to you, it was an absolute novice moment. Completely didn't even know where the hell to brake because I had no one in front of me.
Right.
Hit the brakes way too late, went straight into the corner, flying off, and got a big tank slapper on, overcorrected it, snatched left, and someone was trying to go around the outside of me that thought I was going to go right rather than left, and I just went bang at about 90 miles an hour. So that was quite a big wake-up call to motorsport. Hello, this is what it's all about. And yeah, I didn't think I was going to race again, but sure enough, me and my dad and my brother and everyone around us all built a new car and got going again. And I was back out later on that year and continued ever since. I've been racing in that championship pretty much since 2020. I won a championship in 2018 and 2019, which I'll kind of graze on in a little bit. and then moved into something different 2020. I kept the same car, but we put a lot bigger an engine in it, 1.8 K series engine, Rover K series, lots of modifications, and which ended up kind of racing against lots of cool machinery, lots of like Honda Civic Type R's, Integras, and it was basically it was a little mouse against all the big wolves trying to race, and it was good fun. I had a lot of fun in it. We were pretty competitive for a fair part, and we had a few sort of podiums in that racing in the 750 Motor Club Hot Hatch Championship.
Yeah.
And then we kind of tried to go a different direction with the car. We tried to change the suspension completely, and it turned out a complete mess. We were chasing our tail with it, and it was getting a bit frustrating for us. So we decided we were going to call it a day, but we decided to hang out for the last season of this championship just to see if we can hope for rain, because the rain was where the car really shone against the big monsters that we were up against. And we got rain, and we got our first race win in that championship. It's the first ever non-Honda to actually win a race, and it had to be a Rover Metro of all things. So it was quite good fun to do that. And yeah, I mean, we then stepped back from that championship. Again, we're spending too much money. The tyres were costing us a fortune just to compete. And we've then gone back to the Metro Cup, which I first started, and kind of that is where I am now. I'm still racing, never really stopped since 2013. But obviously, sim racing was a big part of what happened between them years as well. So yeah, obviously that starts a whole new another story, I suppose.
And how are we doing in the championship?
Currently,
Yep.
I believe I'm leading it. Put it this way, I've the first round I won both races, 2 fastest laps. The second round I blew up the engine in qualifying, so that was my whole weekend done. So I'd missed 2 races. Yeah. And then the third round I won both races and both fastest laps. So there is a drop round to be scored. So the points may look a bit odd at this stage. It's very hard to tell, but I'm net leader, and realistically, if I just carry on doing what I'm doing, or a couple of podiums from here, I think it's job done for the championship this year as well. So,
but I'm not happy with your championship. They don't go to Thruxton. What's all that about?
You know what? I've never ever raced Thruxton as much. I've been there, but I've never raced it. I'd love to. The Metros would be quite a task. I think we'd be bouncing off the rev limiter in 5th gear down the back straights, but it'd be good fun.
It would be awesome to see you there as well, and that would be the thing. How do you find then that you've gone from that and now we're in iRacing, you're coaching, you're running leagues? How did all that kick in there? What was, I suppose, in the upside of things, what was first? Was it the real life racing and then sim racing, or was it the other way around?
Yeah, so it was real life racing first. That was what started my journey. And then, yeah, my sim racing journey started in around late 2016 to 2017 area. I knew nothing of it. I'm not a computer guy whatsoever. I'm mechanics hand-on. That's my trade. I'm a mechanic by trade. And there's a place called Simply Race in Milton Keynes.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, you know, and they just opened, and my friends were like, "Come on, let's go there." And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds great." And I was hooked, absolutely hooked from this place. I was entering all the races all the time, every other week, doing heats, and they would do special events, endurance events, and I was there every day almost. I was spending so much money at this place because I just loved it. I fell in love with it, and that then sparked, obviously, me trying to then think about, should I get a rig at home, because I didn't realise this at the time, but when I was competing at Simply Race and I was doing the events, I just thought it was just locals having a race. There's people turning up for a lot of these events from all over the UK. Some of them names you may have heard, like David Williams from VRS Coanda. People like that are big names in the sim racing world were going to these events, and I was having good battles with them, and they were talking to me like, "Oh yeah, you got a sim at home too?" I'm like, "Nah, not at all." And they're like, "Oh mate, you should get a sim. You should get into in the world of sim racing. This is cool." So that kind of sparked that. I then looked into getting a simulator around 2017 area. Yeah, around 2017, 2018 area. As I got that, opened up the whole new world. I started in VR because I didn't have a lot of space. I had a VR headset in a small corner of my room, and I got going because it was originally on R Factor 2, and I just hated how to use R Factor 2. Again, not a computer savvy guy, so I just didn't understand computers at all.
To be fair though, Jack, there's probably not a lot of people who know how to use RF2 properly. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, trying to install mods, and I was like, my brain was like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
What's going on? What's all these things?
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, I was really kind of losing my rag with all the money that I just spent on the PC and this rig, and I'm like, I just want to just go back to simply race. This is just, I don't know, I just don't like this. But funnily enough, there's a friend of mine that I didn't really know that well. He added me on Facebook, and that guy called Adam McNally. You might have heard of him.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I
you
know
know.
Adam.
Yeah. And he used to like stream his MX5 race on iRacing on Facebook, and I used to watch it, and I thought it was really cool. And I was like, "What is he playing? That is really cool. The competition is intense." I used to think it's awesome. How can I get a bit of this? I've got a sim now. What's stopping me? So I messaged him. He's like, "Yeah, man, join us. We've got a team. Join in the league. Buddy bar. Get iRacing." And that really sparked a huge thing for me. Got iRacing. Got into this MX5 league, which is the BSR MX5s, British Sim Racers.
Yep.
Which was really competitive back in them days. It was like one of the top leagues in UK in sim racing at that time. And yeah, I joined thinking, right, let's go show these kids who's boss. I was absolutely put to bed with what I thought.
Was that around, what it, Steve Heffer, Jamie Ayres, were all they in there? Because they were in BSR before they split or whatever happened. I don't know the whole details, but obviously BSR split into UK Sim Racing, and then they went out on their own, and it was all very dramatic moments.
Yeah, like Kip Stevens and loads of other people involved, wasn't there? So, but it was a big time. I mean, Ash Sutton was involved a lot in that area of BSR in them days as well, which is, to me, it was like, wow, I'm racing around Ash Sutton. This is crazy. Like an idol that is racing with us, but everyone just is sim racing. This is the world of sim racing. Welcome. So it is, when I started racing, I couldn't believe what I was actually put myself in and how these guys are so fast. And at the time, joined the team which was Youth Energy, which was what was the team from Adam McNally's team, which then later turned into Excite iRacing Energy team. And a good friend of mine still now, Brian Holmes. Can you recognise Brian Holmes? One of the guys that really sort of spent a bit of time with me, telling me, right, this is what you got to do, sort of coaching me a little bit here, and he was a top level guy back then in the MX5, 5,500, or at that moment in them days.
I don't know what he is now. I haven't spoken to him for ages, actually.
I think he's that, or maybe lower, since I think he hasn't raced for a long time.
No, I know, life. For Brian, so I know you're right. I haven't spoken to him for ages, but I find it quite interesting that Jack Ashton, sim racing coach, was being coached.
Yeah, well, everyone has to at the start to begin with. I always think. I mean, a lot of people say this about coaches is that they've got to start somewhere. Someone's got to start somewhere, and that's a journey. I mean, I've seen so many students from my time, which we'll go through later, is that they've started where they started and they've ended up where they are now, and it's like, wow, this is really good. But that's someone's got to start somewhere, and that's exactly what the case I had. I had a bit of coaching with Brian, and Brian walked me through a lot of things, and I started to get a grips of it. And I think that following season in sim racing, I put a lot of time in and practice in, which then shone in real life. That really started to push me as a driver in real life way more, because, like I said, in real life I just treated it as a hobby, and as well I was a bit in denial, blaming the the fact that everyone's car's a bit quicker than mine. No, it's not. You got to just put your act together and let's race. It's 90% of it is the driver, so come on, let's do it.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean that attitude then got me a bit further. And yeah, like I was saying, in real life, 2018 and 2019 won the championship. 2019 with, I think, most demanding championship win in that series. I won every race that I entered, and I got every fastest lap in every race bar one. So it was, I think, the most whitewashed series that we've had that year, which led us to try and then a different championship, which is why we moved. But for sure, it was what led me to being faster in real life was sim racing. It's what pushed me to be a better driver. I then, going forward from when I started coaching, I suppose. I mean, what led to that is quite an interesting story. Is that when I was part of Excite and I was doing bits with Excite, mainly just doing the special events and leagues and whatever that I wanted to do at that time. I saw a advert on, I think it was Facebook, for if you can enter this competition, you can become a team member for the Ford's official esports team, for like in sim racing. And I'm like, wow, that sounds really cool. They're doing like a tryout thing. And I was like, how do you enter this? What do you have to do? And you have to go to London to go into like a venue where they've got like a sim set up, and you've got to try and beat the fastest lap. And I'm like, I don't even know what game is it using. It's using Gran Turismo, and I'm like, I've never used Gran Turismo, and I'm like, it's got to be worth a shot though. When is it? And it was like on a Wednesday evening, and I'm like, I've got work, but I can do this. I'll travel from Milton Keynes. I'll leave work. I'll get to Milton Keynes. I'll get there.
It's not too far away though, is it? Let's be real. Come on,
Jack.
Jack.
Too bad. It's
you know
not
what I mean? You're talking the run on the M1. It's not horrendous.
Well, I got on the train. It was a lot easier than trying to drive.
Oh,
there.
Fair play.
I got on the train, and I got there, and I got there with the last 30 minutes of the day that they had running. So because I was finished work, I had a full day of work, then got there. So I was like turned up, like I just got to give this a shot. What do we do? You got to do 3 laps of Brands Indy, or is it Brands GP? One of them, Brands Indy or Brands GP, 3 laps, and it's the total of them 3 laps time, and is the winner of the shortest time. So I jumped in like, what the hell is this Gran Turismo? I don't know what I'm doing with this game. It felt weird. It had really weird rig. I just hated it. Everything was terrible, but I gave it my best. I thought I did terrible. I came off, and they're like, well done. You got second. I'm like, what the hell? Is there a chance to have another go? And they're like, well, you got 5 minutes. You can have another go. And I'm like, okay. Squeezed another go in, and I think I was on track to beat it, and I binned it on the last sort of lap. Basically, lost it. Just never had any practice or at all usage of this game, so I didn't. Trying to push the limits of it was really weird to me, alien-like. And yeah, I didn't end up getting it, and it's only the winner that got through. So I was like, gutted.
Yeah,
Absolutely gutted. Then they said, I tell you what, drop your name and name down, your email. If we feel like we want to get in contact, we'll get in contact. You showed that you obviously had a good pace, but you just didn't do it. I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, I put my details, thinking, nah, I'm never gonna get anything from that. Sure enough, I think it was like a month later, they contacted me. It was like, really like seeing what you're doing, and we've got a space open for you if you'd like to join. I'm like, yes, absolutely, yeah. Why the hell not? Ford's esports team, that's cool. It's my time to sort of really get my teeth into sim racing, really deeply, and then that's when I decided, all right, I've got to try and get my I rating up, because I never did I rating. I was always doing leagues. So yeah, I think I went then from 2.5k to 5k for, I think, in like about a space of 3 weeks. But it then plateaued in that area for a period because I just had lack of time for a period. But yeah, I was in Ford's esports team for a while, and one of the teammates was in that team from ACC. He worked for Driver 61. I'm sure you know of Scott Mansell, yeah.
Yep.
And he does the coaching programs and lots of things there. And they were only 2 coaches for that team, and they needed lots because they're getting thousands of students coming through the doors with his massive views that he was getting on YouTube. So it was a kind of quick fire, right? Do you want to be a coach? Yeah, well, why not? And then, can you do this tryout for us? Yeah. And there's like about 30 coaches in this thing, and they're only going to select like 5 or 6. I was like, I'm probably going to get through anyway. And yeah, apparently I did a good enough job and explained what I was doing, and good enough that they wanted me to be in the team. So I was like, oh, okay, sweet. So I'm now a Driver 61 coach. Okay, this is cool. I now work for Scott Mansell.
Nice.
This has just come out of the blue, but we'll go with it. And yeah, then from that point, I thought, you know what? I'm going to sort of advertise it for myself as well. If I'm now working for someone, I feel like I can do it myself. I really enjoy doing this. This is really cool. And setting an advert up on Fiverr. I'm not sure if you heard their website.
Yep, I know Fiverr. I love Fiverr, dude. I used it for a graphic designer.
Yep, yeah, it's really cool website. And I put an advert up, and when I put an advert up on that website, I realised that actually it's the first person to put an advert up for coaching, and it actually went really quickly, booming from that. And I thought, oh, okay. And then after a few months, a few more coaches started to get a few more adverts, but because I had more ratings and stuff, everyone was picking me, so I turned out to be kind of one of the sort of top Fiverr ads basically for coaching on iRacing, which is kind of good, really. I mean, I didn't expect it, but I think I just got there at the right time. Most things that I've been saying here, and yeah, I mean, the rest is history. That's just blown up, word of mouth, and then Driver 61 students that have then like really wanted just me. They didn't want to like continue using them, and they just wanted to use me in for the future. That kind of just sort of snowballed, and then I was like, I just ended up having a Discord server with a few hundred sort of students, and then it has been a case of, right, well, I've got a few active members, and I know a few of them that are just starting in the racing want to sort of get their teeth into like a league and with like-minded people, and it was like, well, I'll start my league, and this is kind of where it's all been going. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was quite interesting actually when we first started talking about league, and obviously we broadcast your league and obviously commentate on it as well, and it was quite interesting to have you reach out, because I was sat there thinking, I wonder how this is going to go. Like, you know, driver coach, busy boy, driver, mechanic. Is it going to work? Is there going to be time in Jack's calendar, like schedule, to deal with all of this at the same time? And to be fair, between yourself, Nick Green, and then collaborating for the third one that we're up to now, I think you guys have done an amazing job.
I mean, we've plonked it together, and I think the community's kind of pulled it all together anyway. Everyone that's involved takes it as much as they want to win and they want to get points. It's not a case of, oh, he's done that to me, he needs to get penalty points and we're going to give him a fine. We have got no kind of rules in the sense of that you're going to get points on your license or anything. We want to keep it as simple as possible, keep our lives easy, which is hard as it is. But and I think the community itself has kind of built that to make sure that it's not going to be way over exaggerated. It's just people having fun and a community that wants to have race together. And I think that's definitely what's turned out to be. And obviously, like we say, the collaboration with Nick, that kind of come about that I contacted him when he first started doing his YouTube videos. I saw his videos. I thought, oh, they're really cool. Maybe I should sort of reach out about some coaching and see if he would like advertise sort of mine in return. And yeah, we did a video and that worked really well. And we've been good friends since. And yeah, that community kind of collaborated together in a way. And yeah, it's been really cool journey with all of that. It's just cool to see it grow. Really, I mean, I've not. Like you just mentioned, I've got a very busy lifestyle. I still have I still have my full-time job, and due to get married next year.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
Do you want me to come and commentate on it for you?
Imagine. That'd be brilliant.
Well, I could do. You know what I mean? That'd be quite funny. Standing there commentating on your wedding.
So yeah, I mean, it's been we've been very busy. So just that alone, thinking about doing all these other things is crazy, and that is partly the reason. I mean, I didn't really graze on the team's situation of sim racing, but when I left Fordzilla, because Ford ended up pulling the plug on the funding, which then kind of dissipated the whole team, unfortunately, which is a bit of a sad story because it was looking good and that didn't really end very well, which we'll leave there. But after leaving Ford, I joined a team called Mag Performance, which is an Italian-based team, pretty much I'd say the best Italian team in iRacing, I'd say. Yeah, joined them, did a few Italian leagues, ACI leagues, and lots of other things with them guys, which is really good fun, and learnt a lot with them, which is really good. And met my good mate Mark as well through that.
Mark
Calver. You may not know, he's in my Discord, but I coached him to begin with when he kind of first started, and he then grew way better than what I am. he's way better than what I am now. He's now 8.9k, almost 9k I rating. He's a bit of an alien now, but he's a good guy, and he's now working for me as a coach as well in my Discord. So we've got a bit of a collaboration there. And yeah, since being in Mag and running the professional sort of races and stuff, and what the team wanted from me was just too much with life, work, coaching. And at that moment as well, the coaching was starting to really pick up quite a lot, to the point that I was literally booking in for a whole week and not having any slots till the following week, which is like, yeah, not even a space to go, oh, just 1 hour, mate. I'm like, no, I don't even have that. So it was a case of I need to kind of really give up a bit of something here because it's just too much. And I think the competitive side of sim racing was one of them things that I thought, you know what, I think it's time. Not the fact that I want to retire, because I always want to race, but the case of not having the pressure on my shoulders with what the team wanted from me, and just doing what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, and having that ability to have that feeling was probably what I was looking for. And yeah, I then left Mag just to go on my own, really. I just do the odd special event in iRacing with some of my students and just having fun, really. Now I kind of got to that stage that I'm not worried about these iRating figures. I just want to enjoy the racing and enjoy the special events and in 24 hours races and stuff like that. That's what I really enjoy. So I'm going to just keep on doing that. And the coaching, people enjoy it, people find use out of it, and they want it, and I'm here for it. I love doing it. It's something I really enjoy. So yeah, I'm not going to stop anytime soon.
That's fair enough, dude. What we're doing in the description below, you'll have a link to Jack's Discord. If you want to get yourself involved, reach out to Jack as well. And I'm sure you might get a space probably in about 2026. Give or take. You know what I mean? You might have to wait. But there we go. He's a bit of a busy boy there as well. But I find that in conjunction with others' journey, one heck of a journey. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people I've spoken to have been down the whole F1 roads. They've gone down that way, and they've sort of talked about how we started in F1, and then we moved on to sim racing, and then we've gone through something else, and then we've reached iRacing, and then leagues and stuff like that. Yeah. You kind of didn't go down that path. I was kind of expecting you to go down that path.
I know. When I ever look back on it, and I try and keep the story short, but it never is. It's not short. It's
they never are. When you're telling if I gave you my life history, yeah. Jesus would be here forever. You know what I mean? Like, from when I grew up in London to all the naughty things I got myself up to, it would be forever. And I find that's what I find quite interesting about doing this podcast is it's not you're probably about as high profile guest that I've had in conjunction with other people, but it's just giving the normal iRacing community a voice to tell us their journey. And that's the thing, when you go out and you think it's a good idea, I'm going to do a podcast, and you send it out in a few Discords, you go, oh, I might get 10, 15, and then I got 75. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm booked now for the whole year. So, tough. You'll have to fit in around me. But it's so interesting that people want to have their voice. They're so used to listening to podcasts with the likes of Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and some of the other bigger drivers that they don't ever get a chance. And I think to find your story is completely different. You didn't, I haven't heard about PlayStation 1s and F1s and Need for Speeds and all of this sort of thing. And you're now at this point where you're coaching, and that wasn't even something that deliberately happened.
It just happened. It really was. I mean, I never really looked out for all of this, but at the same time, I was never had a problem with it happening because I really loved it. I really enjoyed doing it. I always will never forget my first student. I mean, I'll name him. I'm sure he'd be fine with it. It's Ivor. And
who?
Been a really Ivor. He's not in the he's in the Discord, but he's not very active. But I'll speak to him. I speak to him every now and then. He's from.
What's his full name?
Oh, I'm gonna really butcher this, but it's like Nagi Havesi or something like that. Let me
see if I can find him here. No, he's just got Ivor. That sucks.
Yeah, it will just be Ivor on this thing. But it's something like Nagi Havesi or something like that. Anyway, I've butchered it. It's an English trait of mine.
Fair play.
He was my first student, and again, first ever student, I was a bit nervous to make sure I did a good enough job, because am I really up for this? Like, am I a good enough person? And he was brand new to sim racing, first ever time, never done any really much work. And yeah, the first lesson was like an eye-opener for me to be like, okay, right, I have to really kind of strip back what I thought I need to do sometimes. Like, I was thinking what I've been personally working on in myself, I might have to talk about. No, I've got to strip it back to what I remember that I need to sort of focus on. And like, that's just the different levels of the coaching, and you got to work out what you got to work on with people. But yeah, I've worked on a few things with Ivor, and I just remember like going through some things, and I was like, right, go on track, let's give this a go, let's try this out and try the sort of ideas. He went out and instantly did what I asked him to do, which is quite a rare trait. I'm not going to lie, because a lot of people have like muscle memory built in, which is not good. But he went and straight away and did it, and he's been working on the lap to try and get the best lap he could before our session. And on the first two attempts, on the first two laps, he went like 2.5 seconds quicker, and he was, I mean, he was ecstatic and I was ecstatic, and we were both having a bit of a moment. And from that, I've just been like, I love this. I'll keep doing this again. I want to keep doing this. And yeah, I've had lots of them moments throughout. Obviously, it's easier with people that are brand new beginners, because like I just said, bad habits, bad like muscle memory that people have, very hard to shake. And as well, like, if someone doesn't know anything, then they've got to learn it, and they learn fresh rather than trying to fix what they've been doing bad is actually better. And that's what I've had a few. They're the most successful sessions, and obviously I'm not saying it's never successful with others, but it's where the most satisfaction comes from.
I can imagine that's the good feeling, and being able to understand and work with people and figure out what they're doing wrong, and God knows there'd be a list if I blinking did anything, Jack. To be honest, you'd be like, right, you're doing that wrong. Stop doing that and behave yourself on doing that. And I do. It's quite interesting because how do you approach a lesson? Like, what's your thing?
Okay. First of all, I'll get a bit of information from the student themselves. So I'll be sort of like, whereabouts you're from, how long you've been racing for, what kind of gear have you got, and just tell me a little bit about yourself. I'll get an idea of just what they're talking about. If they've been like, I've just started racing, or been racing for however long, and I've got this and this and that, and then I'm about a second off the top guys, or I soon get a feeling of roughly what I'm looking at and how deep I need to go, maybe go into telemetry in the session or whatever. But obviously the first thing is get them into a session, get them to let me see what's going on first, and then I'll watch them to do about 1 or 2 laps, and I'll have to pick up the areas that I kind of have a routine of, like, right, fix this first, and then once that's fixed, we'll fix this next, and then once that's fixed, we'll then fix this next, and then once we've got all them fixed, we've got to focus on this next part and kind of build it from there. If the first stage is wrong, I'm not going to look at anything else. Yeah, let's fix the first stage, which I'd say is brake shapes and brake trace and how we're using our brake, get the understanding of the brake, because as soon as we fix the braking side of things, it does start to fix a lot of other things naturally anyway. As soon as if we start saying, oh, you're not using the track very well here, I mean, yeah, it's all well and good, but if you're then braking completely wrong, it's very hard to use the track correctly as well. So
Yeah.
fix the first stages, then we'll work on the next. I've had it so many times with students where I'll be like, right, let's look, we need to try and do this here with the brake, pull it back a little bit earlier, let's focus on trying to keep the balance of the car, blah blah blah. And then they'll be like, oh, but do you not think that am I using the track very well here? Almost answering their own question. I'm like, well, yeah, you're not using the track very well at this stage, but we got to work on this at this stage. We need to start here. And that's kind of my attitude with it. Fix the first things, then move on, and build yourself up. It's not something that happens overnight. I know that. I've been racing, like I say, from 2013. I was a noob that crashed at cops the first time and wrote a car off and caused a lot of damage, but swiftly moved on, and here I am, really. That's all I can say. So it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, would you sit back and go, it's like driving lessons? When you get somebody, would you sit there and think, right, okay, we're not going to get this done in 1 hour. Realistically, no offense to anybody that has taught by Jack and he's not lasted an hour. Do you sit there and think, we're gonna take 4 or 5 lessons here?
No. I'd have to say that my idea is that the chunks and the walls that we as a driver run into, in the sense of, like, when you hit that plateau where you're driving, you're like, I just don't know what to do next to get any quicker. That is the wall I kind of want people to reach for then me to be introduced. I don't want for me to be like them doing a session with me and then like, yep, sweet, okay, this is what you got to work on, this is what you got to do, okay, cool, I understand that, that's cool, I'll go away, I'll do that. But then coming back like a week later and it's still not quite fixed, it's kind of pointless because I'm going to start talking about the same thing. We've got to fix what we know we need to fix, start working on that, and then we can move forwards onto the other things. So that's what I always say to people is, yeah, it's not a case of how many sessions. You might pick up what we've talked about, use that, and then start progressing, and then you'll go to the next stage, and you might start working that next stage out yourself. You don't know, because now you fix something, that next step can start making you understand something else a bit easier, and that makes it you start fixing it yourself. And really, my job is just to make the understanding of what you need to do understood. Because
so politely then, are you saying one lesson and then you go away on your own to fix what you think the problem is?
yeah, I absolutely.
So you saying, hold on now, because you might talk yourself into a position here, Jack. Right?
Yeah,
Are
I
you
do this a
saying
lot.
my little, open wheelers? Are you saying that in one lesson you could generally fix what's wrong with me?
In one lesson, I could change your mindset about what you need to do. As long as you're in the right mindset too. That's all it is. The problem that a lot of people have is sometimes they just come to me, I'm going to pay Jack money, he's going to make me faster, happy days. I'll do it again in a couple of weeks, he's going to make me faster, happy days. That's the wrong attitude. Unfortunately, you need to come to me, work very hard to understand what is needed, where I can go, where I'm going wrong, and then gain that information, withhold it, work on it, and I can't drive the car for you. It's all you.
No, I know. I
So,
gather you. I know you're right on that one, and that's the thing. And as you know, I'm doing my little F4s that we're doing around on a Wednesday evening as well. We're off to, where are we going? Donington GP tomorrow, so that should be quite interesting. I have done zero practice, like none currently, and we'll use the practice session I'm in to do it from there. So maybe we'll see how we go, Jack. Maybe we'll hook up a lesson and see if come Snetterton the week after, we'll see if I can get any quicker in my little F4s, because to be honest, Jack, I'm probably borderline useless. Me and Brands and Shings did not amalgamate last week, and in practice I didn't spin once there. In the race I spun about 5 times, and we didn't go well.
It happens to the best of us. I've been there and done it. It's just getting past that, and as well, like, no offense here, I'm gonna throw you under the bus a little
Jack,
bit
you
here.
swear your head off. I don't care. It's a podcast. It's like, go for your life.
Is that age is gonna be a thing that makes that a lot harder.
Dude, you're big, you ageist ass. Jack Ashton, how dare you? I'm only 21 times a couple and had a few. Do you reckon that really it pays the problem?
100%.
Are you saying old people don't learn as quick as young people?
Yeah, I'd say it's scientifically factual as well. I'd say, honestly, the younger you are, the more you can soak up, and you learn a hell of a lot more. And unfortunately, it's just a lot harder as we get older. I'm finding it myself. I've just turned 30. I'm not saying it's young. I'm not saying it's old. I'm just in that middle.
Dude, you're where I wish I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But at the same time, when I'm sort of in this age, I'm in the mindsets I'm finding myself. I'm realizing that I just cannot perform as well as I maybe would like to, or learn as well and as quickly as I'd like to. When I probably could 5-6 years ago, in that prime of like the low mid-20s, you can learn a lot. And I mean, when you're 17, 16, you can learn a hell of a lot really quickly, soak it up like a big sponge.
I feel a challenge coming on, Jack. I really do. I don't know. I think the comments will be, a full-on sort of session of challenging.
I'm all for it.
Mate, my open wheel IR at the moment, mind you, there was a very long period of time where my son was, Dad, I want to play iRacing. So I was like, okay, that's fine. He was 11, 12 at the time. So I said, okay, that's cool. You can use my account, because I only use it for commentating. Right? Let's be real. Yeah, I don't really do it. The only one rule we had is turn off voice chat and don't get me banned. Don't do anything stupid, right? Because otherwise, that's the whole business gone. And next, you go into your iRating after a while and you think, shit, am I really on like 350 IR for open wheelers here? And I speak to my son and I go, dude, what's going on? He was like, they just kept crashing into me, Dad. So I quit out. And I was like, That's not how I racing and IR and SR work. So I've been working my my little tail off on the time that I've had, and I'm now back up to 1,300. Okay,
Okay, you've
you know,
recovered that.
I've
Yeah,
recovered, 1,000. That wasn't bad. It's only
yeah,
been
that's
about
good recovery.
3 or 4 weeks doing the F4s as well. Now,
That's not
the
bad.
thing I find when I was driving, because there was a time, believe it or not, that I did drive before I commentated, and I had my I rating up at 1,800 to 2.5. That was where I was
Okay,
sitting,
yeah.
and I always found when you got to a certain point above 1,800, 2.5, you found a lobby full of Max Verstappens.
Yep.
And I could never, ever get out of that 2.5. If anything, I ended up going back down to the people who actually wanted to race properly.
Yeah, yeah. I 100% understand that vibe or aura of area of people that is where you're at. How long ago are we talking there? When
4
you're
years ago.
talking, yeah, exactly what I said. So around that time, like 4 years ago, that sort of 2.5 boundary or just over 2K boundary was the hardest boundary to kind of pass because you had exactly what you explained, where you had people that are learning, but then they're getting to the point that they're getting fast now, and they're realizing they're getting fast, so they got to do as best they can because they are the fast drivers now. They're getting that 2K area, and their aggression levels become a lot higher, heightened, and everything becomes a lot more trying harder because they want to proceed and they want to be this next fastest person on the planet, which I ain't got a problem with that attitude. But obviously, when you get a lobby full of them, you get, like you said, the Max Verstappens that cause the absolute chaos.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very hard to get past it. So I always say to people, if you can break the barrier and get in like 3K over at that in that area that back in them days, then you had the ability to be like 4, 5, 6K, pretty much. Yeah.
Damn, I should have stayed at it. Who did this commentary malarkey?
That
Bastards.
2K to 3K boundary is so hard to kind of proceed.
Oh, it's horrendous.
Yeah, but
It
the only way
literally
to
is.
proceed through that was out-qualify them, be on pole, and when you're on pole, you got to then just get away from the mess on that first turn, and then you're away. Then you can just try and run your own race, and then just do your thing and get the win or the podium, and that is then the ability to then hopefully push to then get in the 3K because you're winning races quite often. Once you're in that range of 3K and you're winning races already anyway, then what's stopping you to get 4K? Because you're already winning races, getting away from that style of people. So that's where, I always found. I mean, now it's a little bit different because the IR boom, really since like all COVID times has really boomed it even more. And I mean, you're getting crazy ratings now that's just on the norm, really, like top splits of like standard 5-6Ks. I mean, you never had that 6 years ago. It was like you saw a 5 or 6K, you'd be like, whoa, yeah, nice, he's cooking. But now it's like, oh, he's just average Joe in top split.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the thing. I think a lot of it is I think the problem is you can only ever control yourself. You can't control 25 other people. I did an F4 race the other day at Fruxton, and I was taken out on the first run through on the first lap, and literally was off into the field over on the left hand side at Fruxton before I think it's Goodwood Corner at the top, and I was off, and to the point where I went too far, and then it put me back in the pits. So then, of course, I sat there towing, and then I come back out again, and literally I caught the people up who were third, fourth, and fifth on the track. And I'm sitting there going, okay, so what do I do? Well, I've got to go past them here because I'm like literally quicker than these guys here. So like I go past them, and then I think it was about lap 8 or something, I'm slightly moving my way through the pack, and then coming into the first right left at Fruxton, and one of them just goes bang, straight up the back end of me, and then sends me a message, "What are you doing racing there?" And I'm just like, I'm, dude, I'm not being rude here, but I am quicker than you in general, and I find it quite interesting when people go on their journeys and how to deal with it. And this is generally why I haven't raced as much over the last week or couple of weeks or so. I've had a lot going on that obviously is keeping me away from it, but I think generally people's attitude is when they get into things like that is it's all the world's going to end if I don't win.
Yeah.
And I find that mentality horrendous.
Yeah, it's very difficult to kind of get away from any of that from any split really nowadays. And I mean, we keep bringing a name up, but Max is a massive part of that attitude. And look, at the end of the day, it's what makes him great. It's what makes him as a driver being what he needs to be. But a lot of people trying to bounce off that vibe and use that as their way of being that who they want to be, and unfortunately is creating a bit of a chaotic. And as well, sim racing, unfortunately, you're in the safety of your own home. You're behind a screen and a keyboard as well, so you got everything in your favour to be safe.
Yeah,
which is not what motorsport is. It's not what motorsport is.
That's the problem. Now, moving away from that, Jack. Now, obviously, you're a busy boy and stuff like that. Outside of motorsport in your life, what do you get yourself up to?
What's that? I don't know.
Well, that's what I thought I'd ask, because I half expected you to come out and say, I play golf or I go carp fishing. I spoke to Luke Crowley last week, the week before. And, I asked him the same question, and I said the same thing to him. I said, you look like a golfer or a fisherman. So is there no other hobby that you enjoy other than doing what you're doing?
I mean, sports in general, like, I'm happy to give them a go, but I don't have any hobbies per se that's other than this. This is literally what I live and breathe. And like you've mentioned, I just don't have any time for anything else. So why should I? If I had spare time, I'll be using it with what I've got right here, because I don't even have enough time to do what I want to do on this sim half the time. So yeah, if I've got spare time, it's not going into a different hobby. It's going into exactly what I want to do, which is
not going into golf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we've been going for nearly an hour. To be honest, so we're going to.
It's gone quick.
Mate, they always do when we're just chatting. Chatting amongst mates is great. We normally finish off now. I did find this quite amusing when you asked me what this was. But now, if anybody's watched it, we always finish off with one car, one track. And that basically means you get to pick a car, pick a track. That's, if you want to put it in iRacing, what would you like to see in there? Jack, having watched all the podcasts, of course, comes and tells me and says, what's that? So, after explaining, Jack, now, one car, one track. Basically, you get to pick one car and one track that you would like to see in iRacing. What are we going to go for? Let's start with a car.
Oh, that's the hardest bit for me. Can I start with a track?
All right.
Right, track. I mean, this is a bit of a cheap shot because it's kind of actually maybe on the horizon. But Croft. Croft Circuit would be awesome to have as a track on iRacing. It is supposedly being scanned, and it was supposed to be with us a couple of builds ago. They announced that, but then nothing's come from it, and I'm kind of still holding out for it. And I think that's what I really want.
You want Croft?
Yeah, I really want Croft.
I don't know if I'm going to... Let's share a screen and we'll show everybody what Croft looks like. However, there is a very dodgy picture, about third picture along here, which we might have to pick in a different kind of light, to be blatantly honest. That's very bizarre. Why Croft?
The flow. I mean, I know you might think, how's he tried this? But I've never raced it in real life. I'm due to in later on this season for the first time. But I've used it in R-Factor 2, and the flow of the circuit is just something to behold. It's really, really good fun. Just the whole way it runs is really, really good, and that layout looks completely wrong to me.
Well, that is...
No, that is right. Hang on, yeah, that is right. It just doesn't.
Let's go to racing circuits. They're normally pretty much...
Yeah,
so you've got the different...
Yeah, the main circuit's the one. I mean, I don't know that any of them other ones. I never
Yeah,
knew
they're
they
the little
existed.
ones that are apparently inside, but that's the main one.
Yeah, so obviously start finish straight going into turn one, Clerval. Yeah.
Clerval.
Yeah, really tricky, and then running wide on the exit, but you've got to try and then sweep through a chicane to then sweep round a sweeping right and then a chicane again on the exit is really, really difficult but good fun. A bump on the entry to the bend of Tower Bend is really fun on the braking. And then the Jim Clark S's looks nothing, but my God, it's epic through there. And Barcroft, all of that section is really, really cool. It looks nothing on that, but yeah, flat out sort of S bends, but it's really difficult. And then a cambered sunny in, sunny out. Really kind of technical sort of part of the circuit and easy to run out on the exit. And then the complex, my God, where do we start here? It sort of swoops left, braking, tight right, trying to get the throttle out the exit, but then you've got a really tight, literally 180-degree hairpin, super tight, and then back on the start finish straight. It's just something that is a really cool track. I think people don't really know about that much because it's quite a weird circuit, but
there it is.
It's a cool circuit.
I was looking here and I'm sitting there thinking that's an airfield circuit, and it literally first line Croft is yet another of England's airfield circuits. Thruxton, Silverstone, they're all pretty much along the side. I wish this advert would bugger off. That's pretty annoying. But okay, where are we going with car?
Oh, well, okay. Where can I go with this angle? I mean, I love hot hatches. That's kind of always been my go-to. Obviously, I race a little hot hatch. I've raced against hot hatch. Obviously, I love my Rover Metro because that's what I've always raced. But I'm going to have to say, because I see you typing, it would be pretty boring to have a standard Rover Metro. But would you maybe have a Rover Metro 6R4 or MG Metro 6R4?
Let's have a look. Rover Metro MG 6R4.
Or just put MG Metro 6R4 without the Rover. And you'll probably recognise it, rallycross style.
That is the rallycross car.
Yeah. It's the daddy of Metros, basically.
That one. I believe it is.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool as hell car, and it's a Metro, so I mean, I can't go wrong with that. I love it. Live and breathe my Metro. So yeah, V6 rear engine, 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, 400 brake horsepower.
Yeah, things are absolute ripper back in the day. And
you'd stick that at Croft.
Yeah, because I believe there's a rallycross layout of Croft, I believe. So there we go. That's it. That works wonders, I'd imagine. Obviously, being a rallycross car is a bit untoward because I don't even do rallycross, but I'm only saying it because it's a Metro, and I know this is the only possible Metro that would ever get added to a racing game. Never ever am I going to see a Metro GTI on a racing game. So I've got to hold out a hope for a 6R4, which is in games like Forza and stuff, I believe. I think you can get a 6R4 in like Forza and stuff like that. So
maybe somebody can R-factor to it and put it and mod it. You know, I know you love them sort of things, yeah?
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be able to hook that up and race it.
Okay, so we're going to Metro 6R4 at Croft.
Go for it. Yeah, why not? It's completely out there one, but I think,
that's probably the most randomest one I've had. I've got to be honest. That was probably one of... Yeah, go for it. You know, that's the thing. It's unlimited of what you can have, and so many different combinations. You know, we've had the McMurtry fan car, which I was fortunate enough to see at Goodwood. It didn't run. It was on a pedestal that just kept circling with the car attached to it. Mind you, it was attached by some big ass bolts as well. It wasn't running, mind you, but I think that's the thing. It just gives everybody a different perspective on you know, what they want, what they like, and I think that's the best thing about it. So fair play for you for picking that one, Jack. Thank you so much for coming along, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure, and probably one of the most strangest stories to get into iRacing I've ever heard, to be honest with you, dude.
It's different, but yeah, here I am, and I'm loving it. Yeah, won't be stopping anytime soon.
Good job, mate. Good job. Well, thank you, Jack, for joining me, bud. It's been a pleasure. As I say, this will be out next week, which, it'll come out on the 20. Oh my God, when I can get my calendar working. Come on. Action. So what's that? The 29th. So it'll come out on the 29th as well. Next time out as well, I'm going to be joined by Luke Maxwell, who's going to join me for a chat as well. Luke drives the SR8s, SR10s. I've met Luke in real life. He is not what you completely think he is by the sounds of him. So tune in for that one. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Jack, pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on, mate. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
I have indeed. I've had some good races with Luke in the past. So
Have you?
good to, yeah, he's a good guy.
But I bet you. Have you met him?
I've not. No, I've not. No, definitely.
I'll talk to you after we knock up and see if you've got an opinion of what you think he looks like. Guys, that's it for this one. Join us for episode 20 next time out as well. But thanks so much. I've been JP. I've been alongside Jack Ashton for this, and we've had a great little chat about Jack's journey. So for now, and as always, take care, and we'll speak to you soon.